Hi everyone, I am Mahalakshmi working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology. In this session, I am going to discuss about the concept of Scrum. Scrum is the most widely used and popular agile framework. Before to get into the concept of Scrum, we need to understand the concept of agile. Agile is a project management and a software development approach. The aim of agile is to deliver the product continuously in a piece of manner instead of delivering the whole product to the customer, and also it allows the team to adapt to the changes quickly and deliver the quality of product to the customer faster. This is the concept of agile. So when the organization or business adapting the agile, they need to follow the agile principles and values to guide their team members to make a product and deliver the product to the customer quickly, and also to satisfy the requirements of their customers. These are the concept of agile. So come to the Scrum. Scrum is a lightweight framework that helps people, teams and organizations to find a solution for a complex problem by generating value through the adaptive solutions. So Scrum is a cross-functional team to deliver products and services in short cycle. Here the cross-functional team is a group of people with various knowledge and skills working together to deliver the product to the customer. So the Scrum contains three roles. One is product owner, second one is Scrum Master, third one is development team. So product owner, the product owner going to act an intermediate between the stakeholder and the development team. So the responsible of product owner is to collect the requirement from the customer, add the needed features for the product and prioritize the features and set the time to deliver the product to the market. So the entire work is done by the product owner. Second one is Scrum Master. We can say Scrum expert or Scrum coach. The main task of Scrum Master to help and guide the team to build the product according to the Scrum framework. That means the team needs to follow the agile principles and values while they are developing the product. So the main task of Scrum Master to guide the team to follow the agile principles. So third one is development team. So the development team is responsible for building and delivering the product to the customer. So the development team contains the cross-functional team. That means the team contains developer, tester, designer, deployer, everyone. So both are having different knowledge, they are working together to achieve a goal. These are the roles of Scrum. So the next one is Scrum activities. Scrum activities are the scheduled events in a Scrum framework which contains sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective and product backlog refinement. Before the activities, we need to understand the concept of sprint. Sprint is the heart of Scrum. That means it going to set the time for the work by dividing the largest work into smallest pieces. The each pieces is called a sprint. The sprint contains some time duration to complete the product. So in the maximum time duration of sprint is 1 to 4 weeks. So each sprint going to complete the work within 1 or 4 weeks. So the next one is sprint planning. So the sprint planning, here the team going to finalize the number of features going to be implemented within this sprint. That will be identified the Scrum teams. So they are going to finalize the product list, which are the product list going to be completed within this time duration of 1 to 4 weeks. For example, if the customer asks to develop a website, so the website creation is a largest process. We need to finalize the template, we need to finalize the menus, we need to finalize the photos, content, everything. So in this largest project, we are going to the entire work, small piece of task, that means sprint. For example, developing the template is one sprint, that will be completed within 1 to 4 weeks. Then they need to finalize the list of menus that can be included within that template, that will take 2 to 3 weeks. Then the photos, the content, so each and every work is called a sprint. So the team going to finalize those features that will be accomplished within the sprint. This is sprint planning. Next one is a daily scrum. Each sprint begins with the scrum meeting. This is the stand up meeting which can be accomplished within 0 to 15 minutes. During this meeting, the entire team going to discuss what are the tasks have been completed yesterday, what are the tasks going to work today, what are the obstacles in our way. Everything is discussed before the sprint. Then sprint review, likewise the scrum, end of the sprint, the team going to conduct the meeting. During that meeting, the team members need to show the work that has been done during the sprint, that is sprint review. Sprint retrospective, this is also the meeting, but this meeting will be conducted by the product owner. So during this meeting, they are going to discuss about the entire sprint, what are the drawbacks in that future, what are the changes we need to make in a future in our next sprint. Everything has been finalized in sprint retrospective. The next important aspect of Scrum is artifact. The artifact denotes the key piece of information that is used by the teams and stakeholders to manage and track the information of the product. This is the definition of artifact. We can say it a tool of Scrum. So here there are some artifacts frequently used in a Scrum. The first one is product backlog. Product backlog contains the list of features that need to be added in a project. Once the features received from the customer, the product owner prioritize the feature, so the team can work on the most important feature first. The second artifact is user story. So user story is nothing to receive the requirement of the user regarding the product. So the user story is a short and a simple description of that means the feature of the product that have been received from the customer in a particular format. So Scrum always use some syntax to get the requirement of the user for a particular product. So the syntax is as a user role, I want functionality so that business value. That means as a user, I want this functionality so that I can achieve some business value. So the simple requirement can be defined in this format while they are processing the requirements. For example, consider the healthcare related application. So the healthcare application contains many kind of users such as doctor, patient, nurse, pharmacist, then a lab technician, everyone can use that app. So but the requirement of each user can be varying. Consider the simple example, as a doctor, I want to access patient history quickly so that I can provide accurate diagnosis and treatment. This is the requirement of doctor. While the doctor going to use the app, they need to get the patient history quickly, need to provide the suggestion to the patient. This is the requirement of doctor, but it will be defined as a user story format. Here, as the user role is doctor, the functionality is to access patient history. By that they can access the business value, that means they can provide the clear diagnosis and treatment to the particular patient. In a point of patient, they want to book the session and they can avoid the waiting time in a queue. So this is the requirement of patient. In meanwhile, we can get it as a user format. As a patient, I want to book the session online so that I can avoid waiting in a queue. So the simple story can be described in the format of this user story requirement. So the next one is sprint backlog. The sprint backlog contains the list of tasks the teams need to perform during the sprint to deliver the functionality. So both sprint backlog and product backlog going to get the future list, but there is some difference between in product backlog and the sprint backlog. So product backlog going to get the entire futures of the particular product, but the sprint backlog going to prioritize the task of that particular futures. This is the difference between product backlog and the sprint backlog. So consider the simple example, online food delivery app. So through this example we can differentiate the product backlog and also the sprint backlog. So online food delivery app, we have collected some requirements from the user in the format of user story. So here I have considered only 2 user story in a product backlog. So one is as a user I want to browse restaurants by location, that will be stored in a ID PB1, product backlog list 1, product backlog list 2, then user story, then the priority, because the project owner need to prioritize the futures. So here we are going to prioritize from high to low. So the higher priority user story has been implemented first. So user story is as a user I want to track my order in real time. This is 2 story that have been stored in a product backlog. So in sprint backlog same thing, but we are going to list out the task that need to be implemented in a particular user story. So that means particular futures. For example, consider the first user story BB1, that means to browse the restaurant by location. So under this user story we need to make some development, that is design UI. So we need to design user interface, then we need to connect to the application programming interface, then everyone using the mobile. So we have to test that application will be work in our mobile phone. These are the tasks that is going to be implemented under this user story. So here that is assigned to the development team, then we need to view the progress of each user story. As a second, track order in real time. Under this user story we are going to perform this task. So each and every user story will be implemented in a one sprint. So each sprint will take maximum 1 to 4 weeks of duration to complete its task. So here a real time setup GPS module, then integrate with map API, because through this user story the user need to track the location. So this is the difference between product backlog and the sprint backlog. So the product backlog going to list out the entire futures of a product, the sprint backlog are going to list out the task that need to be implemented in a particular future. So the next artifact is task board. So the task board is a visualization tool used by the agile teams to track the status of each sprint. So what is going on in a sprint, that will be visualized in a graphically. So the task board contains do, in progress, in review, done, 4 options. So in this 4 option the do contains the task that need to be implemented. Under in progress it contains the task that have been that have started by the team members to develop the particular task. In review, the task has been completed by the development team but need to test or review. So done, when the development is also completed, the testing is also completed, the task moves to the done state. That means no further implementation is required. So this everything is visualized in a some board. That board is called a Scrum board or Kanban board. So through this board the entire team can track the working progress of the particular sprint. So the last artifact is burn down chart. So the burn down chart is another one graphical representation, but it is going to show the amount of work remaining in a sprint. So how many tasks need to be completed in a particular sprint, that will be visualized through this burn down chart. So here the x axis represents the sprint, y axis represents the story point. So each and every progress has been measured with the help of this story point. Here the story point is nothing, the effort put by the team to complete the particular sprint, that is story point. So, it can be measured in a scale. For example, prime numbers are Fibonacci sequence they can use to measure the progress report. So, for the hard they will set the point as 10 to 13, for simple they will set the point 1 to 3, for the medium they have set between 5 to 8. These are the story points. They can alerted to track the effort the team going to put in a particular sprints. So, here this is a simple example. The sprint here there are 6 sprint, the each sprint has been measured in a 360 degree of story points, each will occupy the 60%. So, here the how many tasks needs to be implement, that will be visualized in this bound down chart. So, the bound down chart always shows how much of work is pending to complete in a sprint, that will be tracked during the sprint planning. So, this is the entire concept of Scrum. So, through this Scrum the company can get a good review from the customer, and also they can able to deliver the good product to the customer by collecting the requirements and providing the opportunity to track each and every sprint. So, they can the company can able to deliver the quality product to the customer. So, this is the concept of Scrum and Scrum framework. I hope you understand the concept. I will catch you with the next video in some other topic. Thank you.